For most Amazon sellers, running an Amazon business usually ends up becoming a nightmare because they're not able to figure out whether they're actually making money that falls into their pocket or they are just living in this bubble of revenue where they see big numbers on their account, but at the end of the day, nothing drops out into their bank accounts. In e-commerce, we tend to oversimplify the numbers. We think that if we buy a product at X dollars and if we sell it at Y, and if Y is greater than X, we will always end up making profits, which will basically help us grow and grow and grow and potentially become rich. Well, it's not that simple. In this number that we derive from subtracting Y minus X, which is the selling price minus the cost price, this number Z is not what you are going to be taking away and putting in your bank. You are probably going to be having a lot of different costs affiliated with either the platform that you're selling on or running your business in general before you take anything away and put it in your bank account, and more so before you take out any profit from that Z. So just to name a few, you could have referral fees, which you have on Amazon. You could have storage fees, which you have on Amazon. You could have shipping fees, which you have on Amazon. You could have advertising fees, which also is something that you have on Amazon. And you could also have a subscription fee, which is also there on Amazon. So you need to subtract all of these things from that Z, which is basically the difference between your revenue and cost, and then figure out what is it that you're actually making, whether you're making anything or not. And that is very complicated. That gets very complicated when you're selling on Amazon because a lot of these fees are not straightforward. They're not on your dashboard. And what Amazon tries to do is basically simplify and show you just the revenue numbers just to kind of keep you hyped up. But that is not how a business owner or an entrepreneur should be thinking. So in this video, we are going to be demystifying that. What I'm going to be doing is basically going over the numbers for the last 3 months of this new brand that I launched this year and walk you through it and talk to you about what do I see on my screen. And I believe that should be the best way for you to understand how do you learn about this, what do you need to look for, and what do you need to be aware of when you're running an e-commerce business, especially on Amazon. So without any further ado, let's get in the video and let me walk you through my numbers and my growth and my understanding and my revelations that I've discovered in the last 2 to 3 days, which has forced me to make some changes in my strategies and the way I'm kind of growing this new brand. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so before we begin, I just want to give a short introduction about myself. My name is Rish. I sell on Amazon. I've been selling on Amazon for 5+ years. I started with dropshipping back in 2013 while I was pursuing my graduation in computer science. I have a tech and product background. I got into e-commerce by accident as a hobby and then went full time with it in 2019. Now in 2017, I decided to take a move and start my private label e-commerce business. I started with a toy product, made a decent amount of success with that. More stories on my channel, go ahead and check it out. But right now, I've changed my direction a little bit, started a new brand which I really care about and I'm passionate about, and I've been getting incredible feedbacks from the customers who have started to purchase these products. This happened over the last year. We started working on this particular new brand with 5 SKUs in October and we went live with it this year in February. So right now what I'm going to do is basically hop into my dashboard, which is basically in this product which I use. So I use Sellerboard to look at all of the numbers and data, and I'm going to be showing you exactly what do I look at. I'm just going to be talking out loud while I look at my own numbers, which is what I'm doing because it's the beginning of June and it's very important for me to understand where do we stand and what do we need to change as a strategy this month. So let's get into my dashboard. Alright guys, so let me just quickly log in over here. And by the way guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, don't forget to drop them in the comments, and you can also email me if you have any sensitive question, as in you don't want to put it publicly but you have some question that you need to ask. You can always email me at rish@republicofsellers.com and I usually reply within like 12 hours max. So so right now this is the default view when you log into Sellerboard. We are in something called a dashboard. So this is the dashboard section and we have 4 tabs inside it. So I'm going to go over them one by one, but before I move forward, I'll do some changes over here which is something that I usually like to do, and I'll tell you exactly why. So, when you're looking at data on Amazon, or when you're evaluating your data on Amazon, whatever that might be, it could be your sales data or it could be your PPC data. Ideally, you should not be kind of making decisions based on your day-to-day evaluation. Like if you're just evaluating, every day, okay, today I'm at this number, tomorrow I fell down, day after tomorrow I'm a little bit higher. So, if you do that, first of all, it'll stress the fuck out of you. So you should not be doing that. And second, when you have to make decisions, you need to ideally look at a period of time, and that should be at least 5 to 7 days. So which basically means like a week. So you should either look at your week on week trends, your month on month trends, your quarter on quarter trends, but you need not look at your day to day trends unless you're trying to find some anomaly. Like for example, if you're looking into your history and you now suddenly after 7 days you realize that your rank of product in Amazon has changed substantially, you need to figure out when did that happen, like what kind of led to that change. Then you might want to go ahead and go back in your history and look at your rank fluctuations on a day-to-day basis to kind of pinpoint the fact that, hey, it happened on the 29th of last month, let me see what was wrong on that day, or did I do something else on that day. So that is how you can figure things out. But when you're looking at data, try to not look at it on a day-to-day basis, or at least don't make decisions on a day-to-day evaluation basis. So what I'm going to do over here is, first of all, set a custom time range, and I'm going to be picking up 2nd of February. So that is the day when we went live with this new brand, okay? And the end date, I'm going to set it to end of May, because June has just started, so cannot really depend on that data, and we're not done yet. Secondly, I'm going to be switching the marketplace to .com, because I'm also selling on Amazon.ca, so that has to be evaluated separately. And the third thing that I'll do is I will basically click on this product thing and select the products that I'm selling. So in my account, there is like a chunk of extra products. So I'm going to be removing those products just so that I'm looking at a relevant piece of data. Give me a second. Alright guys, so like I said, I have basically set the filters to the last 3 months, Feb, March, April, May, actually 4 months. And I've selected the only 5 products that I've launched under this brand. I've selected the marketplace and I've just clicked on filter. So now what you see on the screen over here is basically the summary for the last 4 months. As you can see, so we will go over this in detail. Like I'm going to be getting deeper and deeper and deeper, so better watch till the end. And also don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, because right now you just need to kind of pay attention. So go ahead and click on that right now. So as you can see, we've had about $17,361.58 in sales, about 777 units of products ordered, 14% of which is returned, which is very interesting. So if you look at it, 14 divided by 777 is about 1.8%. So that's the percentage of returns that I have, which is pretty interesting. Advertising cost is about $6,884. Estimated payout, which is basically the payout calculated by the software that you should be getting or I should be getting in this scenario. You don't get this. 4681 gross profit, this and that. So I'm going to be going deeper now. So basically this is what most people probably look at. I think most people just look at the sales number, and maybe they look at the advertising cost and they kind of just subtract that, and they also maybe subtract the product cost to get like a rough estimate of what they are making. But that usually isn't correct, and that is exactly what we are trying to find out now. So if you go inside over here, you will see this tab, right? This is the magic. Like this is exactly what you need to be looking at. But before we talk about this, we will talk about this table. Let me split the data into a month-wise structure. So yeah, let's get deeper, guys. Like this is something that most people probably look at, but we need to understand, where do we stand after 4 months of being in business? That is the question that we're trying to solve for in this video. So let's get into the chart section first, and we will go over all the tabs one by one, and I'll tell you exactly why are those 4 tabs very important. So let's go to the chart section. Over here, as you can see, on this account, we've launched this brand in Feb, and we have this graph which is kind of showing you the data for Feb, March, April, May, and it's also showing you this data over here on the right which is basically just about June. So let's ignore that for a moment. And what we can do here is add more things. So right now, if you hover over this graph or bar chart for the month of February, you'll see that the red graph or the red bar basically represents the advertising cost. The blue line, which is this line that's going here, represents the units, and you can see it's kind of mentioned over here on the screen. And you see the refunds, which is the red dot over here, which is pretty low, which is good. And then there is this net profit, which is the blue line. Now, as you can tell, this is a line which is for $0, and the profit is below that line, which means that there is negative profit, and therefore there is a loss, and that is about $333. So that's a loss of $333. That's the money that I will have to pay back to Amazon, okay, for the month of February. So don't panic. That's the month when we launch, and when we launch, and as you can see, I've only sold about 87 units, and when we launch, we ideally need to at least wait to sell about 400-500 units to kind of make a decision before we kind of pull the plug. Okay, so we need to sell enough to understand what where do you stand. Are you able to build a sustainable Amazon business or not? And this is exactly a very good example. So 87 units, I'm still at negative. I need to sell more to become to kind of potentially get into the profit section, and that is exactly what happened. So if you look at just for a moment, let's just look at the net profit kind of bar. So this is in blue, below the $0 line in February. If you go to March, you'll see that it has reduced now. It has come closer to zero. It is now $40, negative $40 in profit, which is basically a loss because it's negative. And now if you look at April, we have gone on the green side. We have now made about $700 in profit, and by this time, if this is incremental, okay, so by this time I probably, I sold about 87 here, I sold about 217 here, which if you do the math, it's probably 300 units, and then somewhere close to 500 is exactly when I'm tending to profit. So that is super interesting. So that is exactly what I keep telling people, right? So that's that. What we can do here is basically also add certain other parameters that we want to be looking at. For example, if I want to look at the real ACOS, okay, and I want to look at estimated payout on this graph itself, then this is a cool way to look at all of those things and understand the trends of those things. So now if you hover on this, you will see that the real ACOS is about 61%, which is very high because my profit margin is somewhere around 45%. So if your ACOS is higher than your profit margin, you are definitely losing money, right? So that's not good. And then later on, if you see over here on the next month, which is March, the ACOS is about 44%, which is very, very like on the margin, like it's exactly what my profit margin is approximately. So over here I am not losing money, but I'm basically making a break even sort of situation by the end of March, which is just like 60 days into the business, with about 300 units, and we are almost entering break even. So that is pretty good and impressive in my opinion, honestly speaking. And if you go to April, you will see that the real ACOS is about 33%. Now this real ACOS is basically popularly known as tacos. Okay, so now we are definitely making some profit, and that is in sync. If you pay attention over here real close, this is in sync. All right, so this is probably not going to work out as I expected. All right, so it's in sync with the fact that we are actually netting profit. Our real ACOS is 33%, much farther away from our profit margin, which is about 45%, and we are really making money. So it's showing you that data right away, and this is how I kind of look at my data. But that's not it. We are going to be going deeper into this table because that is where the magic lies. But let's go into the profit and loss section, which is the next tab. Let's look at the custom range from February till the end of May, and let's look at it by month. And yeah, so that's what we need to do. Select your 5 products, Amazon.com. Let's filter this. So now guys, you will see the entire data of my account for the last 4 months. Okay, and this is super interesting. This is what I was doing for the last 48 hours, and today is the 3rd of June. So you need to kind of practice to spend time and do all of these things. So February I did about 2100 in sales, approximating the numbers. In March we did about 4600 in sales. In April we did about 6100 in sales, and in May we did lesser than April. We did about 4300 in sales, which is actually lower than March. So first of all, you're clearly able to see your numbers here. These are your sales figures. These are the revenue on your Amazon account. Okay, in terms of the number of units, we did about 87 here, 217 here, 268 here, 205 here. But let me tell you a cool thing. Let me tell you exactly what you can look at, and this is very exciting. So we can now look at very easily, without spending a lot of time and effort, what is the distribution between our organic and PPC orders. How many orders did you get from running PPC ads on Amazon, and how many were coming to you through your organic results? Like, if your listing is on Amazon, people can search it and discover it and buy it, and that's an organic sale. So by the way, a cool thing that Sellerboard has is definitions on hover. So if you click, or if you don't need to click, if you hover over anything over here, you will be able to see the definition of that keyword. So if you hover over sales, it says total sales revenue including shipping and gift wrap. So if people are adding gift wrap, if people are checking the option for expedite shipping, those dollars kind of float to you, and that's also calculated and kind of taken into account. If you click over, if you hover over organic, it says sales that appear naturally on Amazon by being determined as the most relevant to the customer's search query, right? So basically organic sales, that's a fancy definition to say that people discovered it and bought it and they did not click on an ad. Okay, when you hover over PPC, and this would be the last definition that we look at right now over here, is 1 day same SKU PPC sales. This means the sales are counted as PPC when the customer orders the same SKU within 24 hours of clicking on the ad. Seller Central shows 7 days all SKUs PPC numbers. That's why they are normally higher. Okay, so let's dissect this further. So now you see this data on the screen, but that's not enough. You need to learn to understand. You need to learn how to evaluate this. So let's dive into our February data. Let's dive into my February data and go over my numbers. So if you look at February over here, you will see that I did about $500. Total revenue is $2,100, and of that $500 is organic sales, and everything else is PPC. So it's like, if you do the math and if you're decently good at math, that's 75-25 split. 25% of my sales were organic and 75% of my sales were driven by PPC. Not good. Obviously, I'm not making any money. If you go to March, things get interesting, and this is exactly why numbers are so freaking incredible to look at. So if you go to March, I did about 4,600 in revenue. Of that, about 2,000 I did organically. So now tables have kind of shifted. The balance of the scales have shifted. $2,000 in organic sales and 2,600 in about PPC sales. So if you do the math here, 26. I'm going to hack this a little bit. So about 55% of my sales were from PPC, and about 45% of my sales were from organic, which is very good. It is an improvement, and that is a signal. If you're not looking at these data points month on month or week on week, you will not be able to figure that out, right? So that's super interesting to see. And then if you go to April, we did about 6,100 in revenue, 3,100 in organic sales, and about 3,000 in PPC sales. Now what has happened over here, guys? This is almost 50-50, right? It's almost 50-50. So the scale has turned. Now look at May. We did about 4,300 in revenue total. Of that, 2,500 was basically in organic sales, and about 1,800 was in PPC sales. Now just by looking at the screen, you can already guess that hey, PPC sales is lesser than organic sales. So what is the conclusion here? The conclusion here, guys, is that we are improving our search ranking. Our products are getting better and indexed better and better, and people are able to discover it more often than the previous month and the previous month and the previous month, and that's what's happening here. So it's very important to look at these numbers. Now if you want me to go into an even more depth, like I can go over this entire table and basically talk to you about exactly what you see here. So if you want me to do that and make that follow-up video, let me know in the comments. Just leave a thumbs up, drop a comment saying go on. Okay, if you drop a comment saying go on, I will put the next video in like 3 or 4 days, and I'll talk about the rest of the table right here on this channel. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day. If you want to get access to the software and kind of run your numbers, and maybe then come back to me and ask me questions, or send me an email if you have any questions. Once you get access to the software, you can get a trial period using the link below in the description. It is an affiliate link, but that's how I'm trying to get you this software. So go ahead, give this a try, log in. If you need any help with the setup or something, just write an email to me and I will help you out personally. So I hope you guys start looking at your numbers, and I'll probably be posting a couple more videos about Sellerboard so that you guys have a deeper understanding. But I hope this takeaway added value. Let me know if it did. See you next time.